what's up, guys? I wanted to come in here and talk about what is going on in the crypto market. Okay, so I think Ethereum here really paints the picture well. And I want to start off by saying there's a lot of fear narratives going around about crypto right now, which usually entails a good time to buy. And one thing I talked about in the last video where I talked about crypto was how most of these people spreading these narratives of fear and always saying, "Oh, this happened in the news, so that made crypto do this, and this happened, and this happened," and people will talk about like a singular bear candle, and then the news is saying, "Oh, crypto dropped by whatever percent," and people don't know how to look at the charts. People don't know how to zoom out. People don't know how to trade, so they're like, "Oh, it's the end of the world. Now everything's really good. Now it's the end of the world. Now everything's really good." So I implore you to tune out the noise and really look at the long-term zoomed out picture here, which I'm about to show you. So as we can see, this was this whole false hype for a bullish narrative. We waited in this period of drawdown for a significant period of time, and a lot of people were thinking, "Oh, it's the bull market. We're going to see new higher highs." And I think surely the fact that so many people were on this train of hype in the bull market meant that long orders were really oversaturated. And that gave a really good opportunity for whales or institutions to actually sell because there were so many people buying, right? As I always mention, someone's got to take the other side of the orders. Don't let that be you. But what we're seeing right now is, as I've highlighted with this blue box here, a lot of volume in this particular area. We have seen even in this previous market cycle, like all the way back in 2021, we were seeing very significant price action happening in this area. A lot of orders being taken, this area being held out as a version of support, right? It means there's a lot of liquidity here. It means there are a lot of orders that are keeping the market interested in this particular area, whether that be bearish or bullish. And because we broke below this level, we're getting all these fear narratives, right? People talking about it's the end of crypto, it's the bull market's not going to happen. If you ask me, the bull market hasn't happened yet. This is just part of the market cycle. And what I am expecting right now is actually this to go lower. And my friends, if you are looking at crypto with the long-term vision that you ought to be, like if you believe in the vision of crypto, we need to be looking at this like there is a lot of space for this to grow, okay? So crypto, there's so much greed in crypto. And this is because all of a sudden there's this market that exists in the world where people are getting oversized returns. I mean, it used to be a thing where it's like if you made 30% in a year, like, man, that's actually a really good investment, right? If you made 50%, like, you killed it. You got something amazing. But now in crypto, people are like dissatisfied by making a couple 100% on their investment. Like, what's that all about, right? So here we have this opportunity where even if you were to buy right now, like this is a $2,000 coin, right? And I think it's very easy for this to go 6,000 and even higher. So if you were to really think about that, that's saying 300% of your capital within a cycle. Okay? Like, don't be greedy about this. Like, understand the long-term vision. This is also very speculative. This is not gospel. This is just something that I think would be a likely scenario if we were to hold off in this range. So the reason I think we're going to go lower as well, if we go in on this smaller time frame, we have essentially a accumulation cycle, right? Then we had, oh, I don't want that. There we go. Then we had a manipulation outside of this accumulation range. Okay? Remember, when the market is accumulating, there are orders stacking up on both sides of the market. I think a lot of people were buying down here. A lot of people were waiting to buy. They were waiting for this to go higher in order to buy. So we broke out of this range, which meant we took orders on the top. Now, I'm not saying this is going to start off from right here where it is, but I do think there's a potentiality that we're going to see the area below this, because if the market was manipulated out of this range, a lot of orders were taken. There could be more here. There could be more here. We just don't know for sure. But that liquidity will likely need to be distributed, and I think it will go lower for that reason. The other thing that I want to mention is based on this area right here. This was the floor essentially in 2022. I do think price has not completed its cycle of coming back to this. Because we broke this range in this blue box here, I do think that the cycle is going to come to a completion in here. I'd be surprised if we broke lower than that, but I think this is a likely scenario. And one thing I want to mention is, like, you don't want to be greedy with this. I mean, if you were to trade crypto 1-to-1, in other words, you buy the coin and you're not throwing leverage on it or anything like that, it would be a safe bet if you believe in the long-term vision of crypto, because I'm not telling you to take risks that you can't afford. I'm not telling you to take a risk that anything is a guarantee. But if you see the vision of crypto, it would be a safe bet, relatively speaking, to actually be buying here or even down in this area if you want to wait for it to come down into this area, and then just holding for a long period of time. Likewise, if you're in here and you're afraid of it going lower and lower, you just need to be patient. You all need to realize that crypto is not something that we're looking to make money in overnight. This is an investment that could pay off in hundreds of percents if we were to just let it go, let it work. I mean, if we're to look at this cycle right here and how big this cycle actually turned out to be, take this box, bring it up on top. Look, like this is bringing us into $7,000. I mean, this was even talking about, if we take this back to here and talk about this previous crypto cycle that played out, the previous bull market that everyone was looking at, that's even bigger than the one I was projecting. But if we're to take that and put it on here, I mean, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for another cycle to be fulfilled. There's a lot more space for this to grow and liquidity to move into it. But what you have to understand is that when the market goes lower, it gives whales and institutional investors, the big people in this market, the big players, opportunities to actually buy at lower prices, to get cheaper prices for shares in which they can stack up on. And it's a safe place to do so, because when people are afraid, they are selling their positions, which is what happens when you break through a major region such as this one right here. Okay. Now, remember that the market is an auction. The reason these prices held up and continued to hold up was because there was some form of large liquidity that was not selling. They were holding at these prices. They were literally holding the market afloat. Okay. So my perception of this, as they are taking profit up here, they're actually making profit off of their shares. And if they're still holding these shares from down here and probably even back here, probably even these lower levels, then it probably wouldn't be advantageous to them to sell below that. You know, financial markets are the Wild West, so you can't know for sure. But that is my logical outlook on Ethereum. And given that this is one of the major blue chip tokens, the rest of the market tends to follow these trends roughly. I just do think the way that this market is playing out particularly paints this picture really clearly. So with that, I hope that makes sense. I hope this helps. Don't take this as financial advice. Recognize that any market you're going to participate in is in fact a risk that you are taking. You have to be willing to take it. You have to be willing to be smart about it. Okay? Be patient. Don't expect something overnight. If something doesn't go your way right away, you need to zoom out. You need to look at the bigger picture. Even if you bought up here, recognize that it's like you're not screwed if you just chill and you just hold it. There's always the potentiality price is going to blow right by that. And you don't want to be one of the people that's like, it's dead. Like you bought up here and now you're selling down here because you're afraid. And then market blows off to this higher price. And now you're going to be depressed because you were right. And you could have made your money back and you could have made profit off of it. So no matter if you're buying down here, you bought up here, be patient. Wait. You shouldn't be investing money into this that you need immediately anyways. Okay? Crypto is something to, like I said, be patient with. Look at the long-term vision. All right, everybody. That's all I got for today. Happy trading and take care. We'll talk soon.